Hey, this is Mike Spreitzer from DevilDriver, and you're listening to the Network 317.
You wasn't on the first album, but you jumped on to, I think, Fury, I believe it was, and you've been kicking it ever since with DevilDriver. What keeps you motivated to keep making music with this band and keep pushing forward like you guys have for the past decade or so?
It's what I've always wanted to do. I mean, a lot of people don't know what they want to do with their lives, but I've pretty much, ever since I could remember, even to think about what I was going to do in my future, this is what I wanted to do. Nothing else. Well, I can't. That's kind of a lie. I guess there are some other things I wanted to do, but this always took precedence over everything else.
The inspiration you draw, because you guys are now, I do believe, 6-7 albums deep into your guys' career. You know, what keeps you inspired to be making these fresh riffs?
Well, on the last record, it was kind of a breath of fresh air for me because I got to kind of take the lead role, as the lead writing role with the band, you know, because John Berkman wrote quite a bit for the band before he left, and we worked together. It wasn't always the best match. We kind of saw things differently. We're still really good friends, but writing together was always a little bit difficult because we just have different influences. But we always made it work, and we came up with cool stuff. But I feel with Neil and Austin, when the three of us get together and write, it just seems like a better match. And I haven't really been in a position where I've written with a lot of people, you know. For most of my life, even before DevilDriver, I was writing with Berkman, you know, Kendrick and Miller in our previous band before DevilDriver. But I always kind of felt like the black sheep with the three of them. Like, they had known each other since high school, or earlier, and so I was kind of the odd man out. And when it came down to Trust No One, or even the record, you know, the covers record that we have coming out next year, it was just, you know, it was nice.
So with Neil joining the band in about 2015 on Trust, how was your guys' like when you guys first got into writing music together? Did it pop off? Did you guys have to work at it for a little bit, or how did that?
It hardly took any time at all. I mean, I admit I was a little bit stubborn and didn't want to welcome anyone new into the mix. I mostly wanted to write on my own and, you know, work with Mark Lewis, our producer, and, you know, make him the other main collaborator, but that just didn't happen. And for one, Mark didn't have time to really spend that much time with me writing. We did some pre-pro together, but, you know, the record was pretty much written by the time he came in, and he had some really good suggestions, but not a ton. And with Neil and Austin, they came in and they tried out on the same day. Des brought him over to my studio, and we didn't have a drum kit, so Austin just kind of air drummed Dead to Rights, and I watched Neil play Dead to Rights, and we got together and started writing later that week, I think, for the first time after just meeting each other, and it was pretty instant. You know, Neil had a lot of material to work with, and Daybreak was the first song we worked on together. That he wrote most of, and it was just a lot of fun. You know, I would wake up and we'd always start at noon, and
the crack of noon.
Yeah, this is kind of our go-to times. Like, what time are you gonna be here? Noon.
You being a veteran in the DevilDriver group, does the chemistry that you guys have on studio transfer to the stage? You know, playing together.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. I have a lot of fun with these guys on stage.
It's good to hear you guys, you know, after all these years, you know, being on the road and doing this, still having fun.
Yeah.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear. Last record dropped in 2015. That was Trust No One.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have some new, you touched on it a little bit earlier, you guys have some new material coming up here soon, or?
We're doing a outlaw country covers record.
Okay.
And it's a lot of people are under the impression, or have been under the impression, it's a country record, and I want to be clear that it's not a country record. It doesn't sound country at all. All we're doing is taking classic outlaw country songs and kind of did with that Able Nation song Sail.
Would it be fair to, I don't know, kind of simulate it with Rebel Meets Rebel,
I don't think it sounds anything like Rebel Meets Rebel at all.
Like
Nothing like that, no. With Rebel Meets Rebel, I think they kind of took a vibe where they made metal and kind of sounded a little bit country, where we're taking country songs and just making them sound like DevilDriver.
Sounds dope to me.
I'm really happy with it. I think people are really going to like it.
So you guys are, the next record that is going to be released is somewhat of a cover record.
It's a 100% a cover record.
100%
yeah,
cover
every song
record.
on it is. I think we did 13 and we're going to release 12.
Does DevilDriver, the band themselves, have new material that they're working on for an upcoming album? Or
Yes.
Yes.
Don't know when that's going to be. And but Neil already has a ton of songs. And I haven't really... I do have a few songs, not as many as Neil, but I haven't... I started working on my own web store, and I'm selling Kemper profiles and Axe Effects presets.
What's the name of that web store?
Audio Vault. Audio Vault Studio.
You guys are about middle of the tour right now.
A little bit more than that. I would say we've only got 11 shows left.
Any plans for DevilDriver after this tour ends, or
There's talk of another tour early next year. It's still in the works, so I can't really say too much about it yet. I'm sure we're going to have an awesome summer festival run over in Europe at some point. Try to get to Australia and Japan, because we haven't been there in a while. And we've got quite a little schedule coming up.
Well, Mike, thank you very much for your time. You are watching the Network 317.